This is our new to us body for our 1969 Scout restoration. But we're already seeing a couple problems with this body.
Every problem is just a question waiting for the right answer. And the best way to find it is to break it down one piece at a time. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to run into so many different issues on this Scout. This is by far one of the most difficult disassemblies we've ever had to do on one of these classic vehicles. But we don't have a lot of time and we have to get this on the rotisserie for blast.
Like I said, there are a couple of issues with this body. The problem is nowadays you cannot get these bodies. So this is the one that we have. This is the one that we're gonna work with. The front of this thing is absolutely hammered. Got tons of bent metal up here that we're gonna have to fix. Coming along this side, we've got rust here. We've got holes starting behind this doorpost pillar, which is gonna be extremely difficult to repair. Coming this way, we've got some weird stuff going on with the rocker, a huge dent right here. The bedsides really aren't bad, which is good, but the problem is, so our biggest issue right now is this back. All of this is completely rotted out. You can see there's holes right there. This is so pitted. All this is gonna have to get replaced. Not only that, we've got tons of rust issues over here. So we're gonna have a lot of fabrication we're gonna have to do in the back. As far as the back of the Scout, there's really only one big rust spot right here that we're gonna have to patch. But the worst panel, I think, by far on this Scout is this front fender. You see that whole thing is gone. That top is gonna be extremely difficult to rebuild. And then you can see all right there. They do not make any of this in the aftermarket, so we're gonna have to fix everything we can. Luckily, Mr. Mike is our master fabricator, so he's gonna be able to knock these out. As far as all of our other panels for the car, they're really not bad. The doors aren't in bad condition. This fender is really not bad. That grille is pretty nice. And then the tailgate is in good condition. So not terrible. We're gonna have to get all of this blasted, so everything has to get torn down so we can set it off, get it blasted, see what condition the metal is underneath. So first things first is we have to get this entire body disassembled so that we can set it off and get it blasted so that we see the condition of the metal. So not too many parts on this, but we're gonna start in the front, just work our way to the rear, get every single bolt we can removed from this body. We're moving on the front end, getting it disassembled. Mike's getting this weather strip removed, but the front's pretty much done. The middle is done-ish. Right now I'm working on getting this fuel tank out, and it's kind of crazy. It had this huge pocket right here, and look at all of that dirt in there. The whole rocker is full of dirt. So we're having rot issues all in here just because of all of that earth. So we're gonna have to try and dig all of that out, but pretty crazy. Also, kind of cool that they put the fuel tank right here. It has this little cover over it, and it just kind of sits in there just like that. So we got one more on that side I gotta pull off. But first I'm gonna try and get this tank out, and then I'll jump to the other side.
And I don't know what the heck happened to this Scout body. This had to be sitting in a ditch or something somewhere, because all of the rockers, the inside of the quarters, everything was filled with dirt. I've never seen this much dirt inside a vehicle in my life. And we actually knew that it was gonna be pretty difficult to get this thing disassembled, just because when you have all that dirt, all of the water is gonna get into it, it's gonna soak into it, and then it's just gonna rust and seize everything. So pretty much every single bolt on this thing broke, which is going to be great for us because in the future we're going to have to try and extract all the broken bolts. But both gas tanks were pretty seized in there. We had to pretty much cut them out to get them out, but we're going to be sending them off and getting them rebuilt. Really, the last thing that we had to do was get all of the brake lines, fuel lines, and then all of the miscellaneous bolts underneath this body disconnected. Mike jumped to the top and got the rest of the bolts ground off, so now every single nut and bolt has been removed from this body.
Okay, well, the Scout body is completely disassembled and ready to go on the rotisserie. So that's what we're gonna do next. We have to get this thing blasted so we can do a full analysis on the body and order all of the sheet metal parts that we need. So getting this thing on the rotisserie is gonna be the next step. after we get the Scout body on the rotisserie, we have to get all of the rest of the panels that we're gonna send to blast completely disassembled. So the doors are complete units right now. We have to completely tear them down, and then a couple other miscellaneous things we have to do, but other than that, we're gonna be pretty dang close. So let's get these parts cleaned up. Let's get this thing on the rotisserie. Okay, so I think we figured out how we're gonna mount the body of the Scout to the rotisserie. So these are my rotisseries. They just have these bars that come out, slide on there, and so the body will bolt to that right there. So jumping under the back, you can see there's one hole here, and there's also another hole right here. We're gonna use both of those to mount the rear of the body. And then coming around front, we actually only have one bolt hole up here. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna drill 2 holes, one right here and one right here. That way we can mount the front of the body to the rotisserie.
So the reason that we want to get this body mounted on the rotisserie is just because when we send this to blast, it's going to be a lot easier to get this thing up in the air with the rotisserie. You're going to be able to flip it 360 degrees. So he's going to be able to blast every single nook and crevice. These things just make the blast job come out a lot better. So while Mike was trying to figure out how we were going to mount the front, I went around and tightened all the bolts on the inside that connect both ends of the rotisserie. That way when this thing is mounted on there, it's not going to fall apart, and it's also going to rotate smoothly. So getting the front of this mounted was actually pretty simple. We just drilled 2 holes and then ran the 2 bars up to it, ran some bolts through it, and then in the rear we ran both of the bolts through the rear body mounts. So we had to do no new modifications to the rear to make it work. After both ends of the rotisserie was connected to the body, it was time to jack this thing up, get that body cart that we had underneath it out, and the final, if not most important thing you have to do is get the body centered on the rotisserie. That's what we're doing right there. It's going to center the body's weight so that when you rotate it, it's not going to be heavy. It'll be super easy to rotate. You can just do it with one hand. It's not going to be top heavy, and it's just a step that a lot of people skip. So we rotated this thing over about 20 times just to get as much dirt out as we could, and man, there was a lot of dirt in this. Okay, well, the Scout body's on the rotisserie, and so much stuff has fallen out of this. I mean, this thing's absolutely disgusting. Look at that pile Michael has been trying to get out. But we're just gonna try and keep flipping it, get as much stuff out as we can. But that is the pile that we got out of this side, this rocker and quarter. Pretty crazy. That is a lot of dirt. And just like that, we are done with the body. So we're gonna send this out, get it blasted, and then we'll do more work to it when it gets back. But man, there was seriously so much dirt on the ground. We probably filled up a quarter of the garbage can with dirt. Absolutely insane. I've never seen a vehicle with this much dirt in it in my entire life. But we still had a couple things that we needed to do before we sent this body to blast. We got to get all of the parts in. So the doors, the tailgate, the grill, the fenders, we got to get everything disassembled off of them so that they can get blasted along with the body. And I swear, nothing is ever easy. This took so much time just to get these doors disassembled. We had stuck bolts everywhere. We had broken bolts from people previously trying to take this apart that we had to extract. And just when we thought we were close to being done, we ran into a huge issue that stopped us in our tracks. Okay, so one door is completely disassembled. The other door we are struggling a little bit with. We can't get this bolt out right here. So we're gonna have to bring my impact screwdriver from work so we can get that out, and then we can get the rest of the door disassembled. So we have to get the rest of the grill taken apart, and then other than that, we have the tailgate over there, and then it will be completely disassembled. So we're gonna finish up these last couple things tonight. Okay, so we're making a bit of progress. This is the original body to the Scout. We are gonna get this blasted as well, just because I think a lot of these pieces we're gonna have to use, because this is 69 and that is a different year. So he wants the 69, so we're gonna have to use a lot of the engine bay panels. But we gotta get everything disassembled, so we just got the windshield out and it came out perfect. And now we just gotta get the rest of this little stuff done. Mike and I were so stoked to finally see this thing out in the sun on the rotisserie. This was really hard, dirty work, but we are so glad that we're finally over this and ready for blast. But that is pretty much it for this video on the 69 Scout. We got it completely disassembled on the rotisserie, ready for sandblast. So in the next one, it will be back from blast. We're gonna do an analysis and see how much metal we have to repair and start up knocking the metalwork out in this car. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to follow along for more episodes on this build. But thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out.